What's up, people? Welcome back to Noise Avocation Podcast. I'm Ryan, here with Jeremy as always.
How's everybody doing?
So, thanks for tuning into the last episode with Dan. I hope you guys all enjoyed that. I actually took the time to kind of listen to myself on an after post-edit show for once. It was a really good conversation. I talked to him this morning, and he said he was getting a lot of good feedback from it, that his wife loved it, his kids loved it, all that stuff.
Good to hear.
Social media stuff is all in the description, but I'll go ahead and spout it out anyways. You can follow the podcast at Noise Avocation Podcast on Facebook, Noise Avocation on Instagram, Noise Avocation Podcast on YouTube. You can email us at noiseavocation@gmail.com, and my personal Instagram is at SoundwaveSlave.
And mine is at holdfast_517 IG Instagram. Please follow.
So, in recent events, most metal fans have probably heard about the Morbid Angel show and the unfortunate passing of one of the fans who was checking out that show.
Shitty tragedy.
Yeah. There was a show in Illinois March 31st, and a tornado came through, tore the roof off the venue, and caved in the roof. I don't know if it was took the building roof off and then caved in the floor that they were on, or how it worked out. But
the canopy dropped on the dude.
Okay.
Or the marquee, rather, they call it.
Gotcha. I didn't
the marquee
get to
fell
see.
on him.
I seen a couple different versions of the story, so it was kind of misleading as to what actually fell, and the pictures were kind of hard to see. But if you go on Morbid Angel's Instagram, you can, if you're able to, donate to the fundraisers that they have going for the guy who passed away.
I think there was 8 or 9 other people injured as well.
28.
28? Holy shit.
5 with critical injuries, 28 hospitalized.
Okay, that's where I got that lower number.
Yeah.
Critically.
Yeah. The 23 were probably cuts and bruises and stuff, and didn't classify as critical injuries.
Couple
but still,
guys,
my neck. Yeah. They're trying to sue the venue.
Hell yeah, they are.
I slipped and fell.
Damn right.
I mean, imagine being at a show and the roof just falls in. You know how crazy that would
be?
be?
Yeah, that's nuts.
Especially to the band playing, because they're focusing on the music, going at it, crowd's kind of going, and then all of a sudden everything just...
Dude, especially if it's fucking Morbid Angel...
It was,
you'd be like, oh my God, what the fuck did they conjure up?
Yeah, but it was the band Crypto was playing. Morbid Angel hadn't even gotten to play yet. It was early on in the show, so there was only 260 people in the venue at this point for the opening bands and stuff. So there wasn't a full capacity show at this point, which is probably for the best, because there definitely would have been a lot more fatalities if that whole floor was packed.
Yeah, dude.
Because it would be hard to get out of there when you're shoulder to shoulder. You got people moshing, not paying attention, not ever in a million years thinking that the roof would just fall on you.
And then when it does, everybody's rushing.
Yeah.
Turns into a bottleneck at the door, you know?
Yep. You're getting stomped on, knocked over, pushed out of the way. Yep. I mean, it had to be crazy. So.
Well, if you got some extra change, fucking throw it their way, man. They need all the help they can get.
Yeah, I'll throw a link to the fundraiser to Morbid Angel's Instagram for the guy. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but so yeah, if you're able to, go help out with funeral costs. I mean, he's got a wife and kids, I believe, what I read in the one article, so it sucks for that guy, and it's sad for his wife and kids. But he went out doing what he loved to do, I suppose. Nobody wants to go out like that.
I'd go out dancing.
Yeah. You wouldn't be dancing if the roof fell on you.
But I'd be pissed if the fucking canopy fell on me.
But anyways, so upcoming in May 19th, the new album from Century Media's Frozen Soul, Glacial Domination, will be released. There's 2 tracks out currently, Arsenal of War and Morbid Effigy, I believe is the other one, who's got John from Dying Fetus on there.
Yeah. That track is fucking phenomenal.
The video for it's great, too.
Yeah.
So go check out the video. Both songs you can stream everywhere, and then you can pre-order the album at Century Media's website, Frozen Soul's website, or hit up your local record store and pick it up. If you're local here to where we are, I'll have copies in the day of. If you're interested, stop in and pick it up for sure. But we do have Michael Munday, the guitarist, or one of the guitarists from Frozen Soul, here with us today, and we're going to get into a conversation with him about the album and their upcoming tour and some other stuff, so we'll get him on the line here. All right, we have Michael here from Frozen Soul. Michael, thanks for taking the time to jump on the show. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me.
So, we talked a little bit about this before started recording, but tell us about the tour that you guys are starting on next week.
So at the time of recording this, we're leaving about a week from today, and we're going on tour with the Black Dahlia Murder, Terror, Fuming Mouth, and Phobophilic as well. It's going to be mostly all over the U.S., minus like a couple major cities, and then a couple Canada dates as well.
I've seen you guys are playing Michigan April 19th and 20th.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have played Detroit a few times, as far as I remember, yeah?
Yeah. Our second tour we played at Sanctuary. Actually, our second and third tour we played at Sanctuary, and actually also sang with Subog. We've played there a bunch of times, and I think the last time we played around the Detroit area was technically in Pontiac, which is like 45 minutes away, if I'm not mistaken.
Was it the Crowfoot?
Yeah, I think it was a Crowfoot.
It was, if I remember correctly, with Dying Fetus, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a Dying Fetus, Chelsea Grin, Body Snatcher, and Undeaf.
Yeah, that's right. I had a couple friends that went to it. I wasn't able to make it down for it.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
How did Terror's kind of the odd man out of the like that's an interesting choice for a metal tour. I mean, they're more on the hardcore lines of things. I love the band, but it's just not typically what you'd see on the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool like having different genres on a bill because it brings like fans of that specific like band or like that genre out. Like I'll say right now, I'm not like the biggest fan of like deathcore bands usually, but I mean we've toured with bands like Cabal, Body Snatcher, Chelsea Grin, and I mean they like have their own like following that they bring out, and it's cool because like we can expose ourselves to their fans, and then we can expose like our fans to them, you know, like vice versa. So it's real cool having like mixed bills on shows, just to bring everybody from all different corners of like extreme music out.
Yeah, it definitely helps. And I mean, Terror has a huge following, especially in Michigan. And just
when you're talking about like different fans and shit, I would be the one going there for Terror, and Ryan would be the one going there for like the extreme metal. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and that's kind of like how we mix and we vibe and shit. And I love when that happens, man. It used to be like that all the time because there wasn't a whole lot of bands to fucking have a complete metal show or a complete hardcore show or a complete punk show. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
It's nice though when they combine a whole bill like that, because
love it.
I don't know. Some people want to go to a black metal show and see some death metal in there. Some people want to see some punk stuff, and it all kind of brings all different communities of people together, and they're all loving the same shit. And it might help somebody find something that they didn't know they loved.
Right, new shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So,
it's
are
all
you guys
mutually
going to be
beneficial.
playing? You'll be playing a few things from the new record coming out, I imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. So. I mean, me personally, I wanted to play like more songs, but we're only gonna be playing 3 songs off the new record. I think there's 8 songs in our set list. It's either 7 or 8 songs, but unfortunately, like the album's gonna be coming out on like the very tail end of this tour, so people aren't gonna have a lot of time to like get familiar with it yet.
Right.
But we're gonna be doing about 3 songs, 3 new songs on this tour. 2 of them we've already been playing live since October, which is Morbid Effigy, which is the first single that came out, and another one called Death and Glory that hasn't been released as a single or anything yet.
Yeah, I just see Arsenal of War and Morbid Effigy out right now. It was cool to see.
Yeah, and Arsenal of War is going to be one of the other songs we're playing live.
Right on. How did the John Gallagher feature come about?
We were thinking about like getting Corpse Grinder to like do vocals, and then we were like, well, everybody's been kind of like getting Corpse Grinder to do guest vocals on their tracks, so we wanted to like kind of keep it a little bit different. You know, the song's a little bit like more on the slamier, heavier side, so we felt it was appropriate to have John on it, since, you know, Dying Fuse is like a really like heavy slam influence band kind of.
Yeah. Who is the I'm familiar with Matt Hafey, obviously, from Trivium, and I'll get to that in a minute, but who, I don't know if you pronounce it Ghost or Gost. I don't know much about that guy.
I believe it's Gost. So that guy, I believe his name is James. I don't know him personally, but Chad and Matt, our drummer, have known him forever. He used to be pretty involved with like the hardcore scene in DFW back in the day.
Okay.
And I think he's just been doing his own like solo thing for a minute now. He's on Century Media Records as Gost. And this album, for those that like know us, we like to use like small interludes and intros and things like that. And we wanted to keep, like, for this record, we wanted to keep it along like the kind of like horror movie theme. So we had him do a lot of our samples. He does the intro for I think like maybe 3 or 4 songs. And then we have our producer Daniel did a couple, and then our buddy Eric from Plague Years did a couple as well.
Yeah, I checked him out just to see what he was about, what his music was like, and it was definitely it's kind of like dark wave, synth wave type of stuff. And I'm guessing he does intros and not really. I didn't know if you guys were tying in some synth stuff into the new album or how that was going to tie together.
No, we definitely have some like straight up synth stuff. Actually, one of the tracks, Annihilation, is the intro to. It's like the intro to Glacial Domination, but it ended up being a little bit like longer than like a typical intro, so we just kind of made it its own track. But that one's like, it's like no guitars, no traditional drums, no death metal vocals. It's just all like straight synth.
That's cool. I like the unique little mixes into shit like that. It makes it sound good. So Matt Hafey, is he singing, playing guitar, all the above? Like, how did he get tied into a feature list on there?
All the above. So in addition to, doing like some guest vocals and some guitar stuff, we also like co-wrote some songs with him. So the title track, Glacial Domination, and another track on the album, Abominable, he helped us like co-write. He like brought some riffs to us, and we were like, okay, that's cool. Here's how like we would play it. And then we kind of like made it our own. Okay. And then, on Glacial Domination specifically, he does vocals and a couple guitar solos.
Right on. I was a big fan of Trivium's first few records in like junior high. I'm trying to think. Ascension was the name of the album. Pull Harder on the Strings of Your Martyr.
Oh yeah, same man. Like that album and like Lamb of God's Ashes of the Wake are like the 2 albums that like got me into heavy music.
Yeah.
So like for me personally, like getting to work with like Matt Hafey and like the band that introduced me to metal was like just so like unbelievable. I was like so happy.
When I was a kid, I was blown away by him because I was, I don't know, maybe 14 when I discovered it, but he was only like 19 and he was on Headbangers Ball and signed to a major label and putting out records, touring the world, all that stuff. And like, I was just some kid in junior high trying to play his songs on guitar and shit, and it was just cool to see somebody like not that much older than you already have taken that step into music and whatnot.
Yeah, it's crazy shit. I know Trivium's been a band since like he was 16 or 17 or some shit like that.
Yeah, I know he was real young because I remember that Pull Harder on the Strings of Your Martyr video where he was like, you could just look at him and see how young
he looks like a baby in that.
Yeah. And then I did see them live a few times, and then I kind of fell off of them like later on in their career and didn't really keep up just because it's so hard to keep up with everything with the amount of stuff that comes out.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it was cool to see him on the record, and I'm curious to hear those tracks because I've only heard the singles that have been released so far, so I am looking forward to hearing what you guys did with him for sure. And I'm sure a lot of other people are. Yeah,
I'm really excited to get it out, especially the 2 tracks like we did with him, Glacial and Abominable. They're a little bit different from like what we would normally do, so it's just I think it's really cool. I think people are going to like it a lot.
Yeah, I was wondering how the 2 sounds were kind of going to merge together, and that's why I asked if he was singing or playing guitar, because I didn't know. It could go, either way. But it will be an interesting combination, especially like, because there was
I mean, it's still 100% sounds like Frozen Soul. It's just like a little bit different from what we've already done,
Yeah. You guys didn't have any features on Crypt of Ice that I remember.
No, we didn't.
So that was you guys' first record, and it got put out like right at the height of the pandemic, if I remember correctly, didn't it?
That one came out January of 2021. So the pandemic had
That was
been
a
going
little
on
bit
for like
after. Yeah.
10 months already.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty much during the height of it.
Yeah. Was it harder to release a record during that time, or like what kind of challenges did you guys face just trying to put music out at that time? Because I know, like, obviously you couldn't tour on it.
For me, I'll speak from my own personal experience. So before Frozen Soul, I'd only ever released like one album in my life. I was with like this band called Wild Speaker, and we just kind of put out a record on our own. But this is our first time, ever working with like a major label, and so it's all like new to us. And like we knew like before we recorded this, like, all right, we're gonna have to like tour on this album to support it and just push it real hard, do music videos and things like that. And I think like the biggest kind of like thing with that is just not being able to tour to support it. Like we had to get real creative with like our music videos, and then also we did our Wrecking Ball Metal Madness live stream because we couldn't tour.
Yeah, I watched that.
So
I remember.
yeah, so Wrecking Ball probably wouldn't be a thing, or wouldn't be what it is right now without the pandemic.
Yeah, kind of like how the versus thing in the hip hop side of things was kind of spawned from the pandemic and then became huge afterwards and during. But yeah, that I remember right when that came out. I like to call them the gatekeepers of metal on Instagram, just people that I follow that seem to always have the insight to everything great and new coming out. And I seen that and was just like, oh, Frozen Soul, the album cover looks cool, check it out. And then immediately, like, obviously I heard the bolt thrower sound and I was just sold right away on the record. And then I was really looking forward to you guys releasing another album. So now that that's coming out soon, definitely looking forward to that. I did want to ask, so you guys are from Texas, Arlington, if I remember correctly, or if I read that correctly.
Yeah, I mean, technically, I guess if you want to get real technical, we're from Fort Worth, but I mean, it's all the same, like Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington.
Okay.
We call it DFW just because it's like a gigantic metroplex.
Yeah.
But we're all basically from Dallas.
Okay. Since Texas is mainly a hot state, how did all of the frozen ice lore type of theme come about for Frozen Soul?
I mean, when we came up with the band name Frozen Soul, like me and Chad were listening to Trapped Under Ice by Metallica, and there's like a line in the song where it's like frozen soul, frozen down to the core, break the ice, I can't take anymore.
Yep.
So we were like, oh, that's like that'd be a fucking sick ass band name. And we wrote the demo, and Chad kind of like toyed around with the ice themes a little bit. But we didn't go like full 100% into it, and then we released it, and like people were just kind of like memeing it or like cracking jokes about it, things like that. So we just kind of leaned into it. So it was really like the fans that kind of helped like really flesh out like the cold and ice themes.
It was just unique to see a band that isn't from somewhere cold and icy have cold and ice themes, because normally like you get a black metal band, they're from Denmark or Colorado or somewhere that has some fucking snow and icy, and or you got like Worm is kind of swampy like Florida, same as like old Obituary and stuff. And
yeah,
so
also like being from the Dallas area, like there's so many like wannabe Panteras.
Oh, that was going to be a question of mine, dude.
Yeah, and so like there's so many wannabe Panteras, and it's like obviously like we love it. We love Pantera, and like they have an influence on us, but like we just kind of wanted to like not like do what everyone else is doing like at home,
Oh, definitely. Yeah. So I heard that from a unreliable source that you and Chad the singer met at a comic book and Magic the Gathering store.
Yes, that's correct.
So what kind of comics are you into? Are you into Magic the Gathering? I was thinking that might have been a possible source of the inspiration for the name, subject matter, art.
Yeah, so neither me or Chad are like super into comics, but we're both really into Magic the Gathering, and that's how we met. I was going up to like play a local like F&M tournament or some shit like that, and I remember seeing through the window just a dude with like the slowly rewrought print on the back of his shirt. I was like, oh no way. There's a dude here that's not a fucking smelly dork that likes good bands.
Yeah.
Yep. And so like me and him ended up like playing some games together and just like chatted for a bit, and then I think like it was maybe a couple months later, like I hit him up and I was like, hey man, like you want to start a band? And he was like, yeah, sure, because his previous band Vulgar Display had like just broken up.
Talk
And
about
then we
Pantera.
started jamming after that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's cool. It's like, oh, you got a cool T-shirt. Want to be my friend? You know, like it's dope.
That's kind of how metal
Yeah.
works. I mean, like,
Yeah,
Exactly
and
how
now,
it works, dude.
6-7 years later, I'm here doing this interview with
Yep.
you
yeah,
guys.
yeah. I've met tons of people off cool T-shirts at shows, so I know how that goes.
There's a kid running around our town with a Knocked Loose shirt on. I'm like, how don't I know you? You know, like, where are you from?
That's dope.
Yep.
You guys got signed to Century Media like pretty early on. How did that come about?
So I think the main reason like that it happened is because we just started touring like right off the bat. So literally like the New Year's Day of 2020, we started our Frozen Steel tour. So it was Frozen Soul, Steel Bearing Hands. Mutilature was on a couple dates, and there was another band. I feel so bad that I can't remember, but there was another band on that tour with us. And when we got back from that tour, Century Media like hit us up and was like, we just wanted to talk about like working together possibly. And over the next like few months, like we told them like, hey, we already like have an album written and we have like recording dates already set. So like it's already on the way, and it just kind of like fell into place.
Damn, that's cool that they hit you up. I mean, usually it works the other way around.
Yeah, because we'd sent like a whole like care package off to like Relapse, because we were like trying to get signed to Relapse at first. Like that's who I wanted to get signed with, just because there's so many cool bands on that label.
Right.
And yeah, sent them a care package. I don't ever think we heard anything back, but then yeah, Century Media hit us up, and we were like, oh, this is like huge. We got to like jump on this.
So how old were you guys when, like, your ages when that happened?
So this is 2020. I was 25 or 26 at the time.
Okay, so 20s.
Everyone's a little bit older than me. I think Chris was like 35, 36 when that happened. Matt, Chad, and Sam, I think we're all like 32, 33.
So yeah, dude, there's still hope for us.
That is cool though. I mean,
that's
Century
awesome.
Media is home to like tons of good metal bands, and I've followed them
Shit, forever?
Yeah, since the first time I ever found, like 20 years ago, probably.
Relapse too, for that matter.
Yeah. Relapse, I think, has the best customer service when it comes to the record store side of things. Like, their distribution is absolutely flawless, which is nice.
Hell yeah.
Obviously, you guys are heavily inspired by Bolt Thrower, and I thought this was kind of cool that you both have a girl for a bass player. Was that something that was intentional or just kind of coincidentally happened?
No, it just kind of coincidentally happened because, I mean, me and Chad like started the band together, and it was just kind of us two, like kind of writing everything. And then, I mean, Sam was our friend, and she had been wanting to play bass in a band. She had a band before Frozen Soul called Vermiculated, but it just ended up like not really working out.
Yeah.
So we told her like, hey, like, you know, we're starting a band if you want to join. And she joined, and that's just kind of how it happened. We just wanted a friend to play. We didn't want to like go find some like random stranger off like Craigslist or some shit, you know?
Yeah.
It definitely creates a better dynamic when you know the person and have a friend.
Yeah, for sure.
But
it
was,
from
I
the
just
same
thought it was
scene.
like a little cool tidbit because like the first thing I heard was Bolt Thrower, obviously, and was just like, wow, this band is... People that I was trying to pitch it to at the store, I was like, if you like Bolt Thrower, this is Bolt Thrower, but cold. And
Yeah, that's how it was pitched to me.
yeah, I sold quite a few people on that, and they were like, oh, I love Bolt Thrower. And then they'd get back to me a day or two later, like, this band's fucking awesome. So I've been pitching you guys as Cold Bolt Thrower for a while now.
As Cold Thrower.
Yeah, Cold Thrower. Actually, I don't know how I didn't even fucking think of that. That could have been a band name for you.
Oh shit.
Yeah, probably.
Do you guys have any, well, I should say you specifically. I keep saying you guys like we got more people here. You've toured with, I mean, Deicide, Goat Horde, Dying Fetus, Skeletal Remains, all of these like huge metal bands that are world-renowned metal bands. Do you have any bands like kind of on a wish list that you want to tour with?
I mean, Cannibal Corpse is like my number one like band I want to tour with right now. Just extreme music legends, and like one of the reasons I'm into death metal at all. But also like Trivium's another big one. I mean, we've talked to Matt about going on tour, and he says he wants to make it happen. It's just lining up each band's schedules and shit like that.
Right.
Yeah, Obituary is another one. I would love to tour with Obituary. Blood Incantation is another band that I really want to tour with. I just really like their music. They're one of my favorite contemporaries right now.
Oh, we love that shit.
Yeah, and just like every time I see them, I'm just like so blown away just by like how fucking good they sound and like how like on point they are.
Yeah.
So just to like, watch that for 30, 45 minutes or an hour every night would just be like so awesome.
They're on tour with Obituary right now, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I seen something about you guys touring. I thought I seen Obituary on a lineup moving forward.
Yeah, so we played one show with Obituary. It was the last show before everything got shut down for the pandemic.
It was old.
Yeah, that was actually Chris's first show with us. Then we also shot the Encased in Ice music video at that show.
Oh, nice. How did the push-up mosh pits at your shows come about? Did somebody just randomly start doing push-ups in the pit one day and then it kind of stuck?
Yeah, actually. So we were, I believe it was on the first Dying Fetus tour that we did. We were playing our Amplified Live in Dallas, like our hometown show. And my homie Tyler, someone was like up on the balcony, like taking video. And then like they just kind of like looked down and my homie Tyler's just like in the middle of the pit doing push-ups. And so like a few shows later, something like that, Chad's like, all right, I want to see you guys get down and do some fucking push-ups.
And they just did
nice.
It.
Yeah, they just did it.
Yeah, it's amazing what people do and you like actually just, hey.
I would have liked to
power.
see. Yeah, I would have liked to see him call out like, I want to see everybody do a backflip.
Yeah.
People try to start doing some backflips.
That's how you get sued.
But going on to the new record. So where did you guys record at?
So we recorded at a studio called Empire Sound Studio in Dallas. Well, it's about like not 45 minutes, like 30 minutes north of Dallas in like the suburbs kind of. So the studio was previously actually owned by King Diamond, and King Diamond and Merciful Fate like had recorded there. There's like some gear there that like was used by them. The guy that owns the studio, his name's Alex Gerst. He has like 40 Grammy nominations or like some crazy shit like that, like a couple like gold songs or like gold records or something like that. It was really cool, man. That was our first time ever being like a real studio where we had like all this like different equipment and like gear at our disposal to just like mess around with and try out. And also we had like twice as much time to record as we did like with Cryptovice. So we like really had time to like find a sound and dial it in before we started recording, which was really nice.
See, the new album is going to be a huge step up, you think?
I mean, I think it's a way huge step up in terms of production. Just because, like, on the first record, like, Chad's vocals are kind of buried in the mix. And this one, they're a little bit more, like, blended in well, kind of at the front with everything. But also, just, like, we wanted to go for, like, a modern sound, but also, like, an old school sound at the same time. And I think we accomplished it pretty well.
Awesome.
Like, it sounds polished without, like, sounding like it's just, like, so shiny it's gonna like blind you, you know?
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah,
No,
it sounded like Bob Rock fucking produced it or something.
Yeah, exactly. So it's still got that like metal edge to it, but it's not like unlistenable, you know?
Which is,
I hope it's not unlistenable, or
you know,
like
I wouldn't want it
killer.
to be too polished. I mean, I think that adds to you guys' sound. I liked how his vocals were kind of buried in the background in the first album, but from what I've heard of the new album, I mean, like, he sounds more powerful to me. And obviously,
yeah,
like,
I think so too.
Yeah, bigger.
And like none of us are really fans of like that super polished sound that's kind of like in metal nowadays.
Yeah.
So we wanted to like kind of stay away from that, but we want to make it accessible to like the people that like the super polished stuff, but also the people that don't like it, like us, you know?
Yeah, it's a trick, man, to like ride that line for sure.
For sure.
And metal people can be difficult. I mean, like, especially you released this amazing first album. Now you have expectations to live up to. And there's obviously going to be critical people one way or another because somebody's always got something to say no matter what. But
did you feel any pressure like that, or like from a writing standpoint?
I mean, I did like while we were writing the record, and then like this is how it goes with anything that I do. It's like I fucking hate everything I do until I like record it and hear it recorded. Because the way something sounds like when we're in our jam room and the way it sounds when it's recorded, it's like totally different.
yeah.
So there's a lot of times I was like kind of doubtful and like insecure about like what we were working on, like what we were coming up with. And then like as soon as we get into the studio and just start kind of like cranking it out, I'm like, oh, this is so fucking sick.
That's
This is gonna
awesome.
like rule.
Cool. Yeah, it's nice to be confident in your riffing for sure. But I can see how you're your own worst critic too.
Yeah. I mean, you have to be, and it sometimes it's like detrimental to me. Like I get like too much in my own head about it, but then like, you know, we like jam it all together and then it sounds like pretty good. And then we go to the studio and like, oh my God, this sounds fucking badass.
Yeah, that's cool.
Has there ever been a time where you did record something and you were just like, I'm throwing this out?
Actually, yes, we did that on this record. We had I think we had like 12 songs total or something like that going in. And there was one that we recorded it and it just wasn't as strong as the rest of the other songs. Like, I guess like unfinished is another way to put it, but like the structure was there, but it was just like missing something, you know? So we recorded it and it just didn't end up being as good as the rest of the songs. So we just cut it.
Yeah, I see 11 tracks here. You should do a deluxe version with the takeout
Yeah, I was
song.
just thinking, man, get a bunch of those. 20 years, you got an album.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Who does you guys' artwork? I wasn't able to find that when I was trying to do some research on the record.
So for this new record, we had a guy named James Basima do artwork for us. We reached out to him after seeing he did Municipal Waste's most recent record, Electrified Brain.
Yeah, that's a great fucking album.
Yeah, we reached out to him because like we wanted something that would like look like a painting. And the thing is with like doing like real paintings, you can only like edit it so much.
Right.
You know, but James, he does a really good job of like keeping it looking like a painting without making it look like too digital. Because I mean, we've worked with some people in the past that were like digital only, and it just looks kind of like cheesy or corny, or like not exactly like what we're going for.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of layers on top of layers of things.
Yeah, but I think James like knocked it out of the park on this album art. It's so sick. I've seen a lot of people say that the album art is amazing, and we're all really happy with it.
I like it a lot. It's definitely right up the Frozen Soul alley, and the t-shirts all turned out sweet, and the album cover itself looks fucking phenomenal. I have a bunch of copies on pre-order coming to the store already. I've got some people looking forward to it.
Fuck yeah, man, that's awesome.
Were there any track in particular that you picked as kind of a favorite out of the album? Like whether you had the most fun recording them, or that was just like, oh, this guitar riff that I wrote was fucking light years beyond this one, or...
Man, it's so weird. Like my favorite changes all the time. For example, like Death and Glory used to be my favorite one, just because that one's it's just like that one's pretty different from what we've done. It's a little bit more like on the thrashy side. And then, you know, the first track, Invisible Tormentor, that one's just like 0 to 100 from the start, just like totally fucking ripping, never lets up, just like fucking pummels you. And then Glacial is the title track. That one's like my favorite like song overall, like as a whole, you know. It just changes from time to time, but I mean, I have different reasons for liking all the different songs, but if I had to pick one, I'd probably say Invisible Tormentor, just because it's for me like the most like technically demanding. It's not only like what I'm doing with like my left hand, but also my right hand. It's just like super fast. Things just kind of like go into one another like butter. And then like the end riff is just like fucking just so stupid heavy. I love it.
Yeah, that's one thing that I love about you guys as music is just the riffs in general are like, they're simple typically, but they're really, really effective. And I know to some people that might be kind of misleading to where they're like, oh, he's not doing this, that, and the other. But to me, like, certain bands, less is more, and you guys fucking hit that out of the park.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how we feel about like Obituary. It's like Obituary doesn't do any like crazy shit, but
no, not at
like
all.
they fucking like, dude, they're heavy as shit, and they like make you want to move. They make you want to groove, you know.
Yeah. And
that's just like the same exact like goal we're trying to accomplish, is just to like, we want to make you move like some way, whether it's like, you know, like headbanging or just like even like tapping your foot, like bobbing your head, or like just straight up mosh and beating the shit out of your friends, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
that's
just the goal that we're trying to accomplish.
You don't have a fucking soul. Like, I don't know how you can't just fucking move anything when the shit's playing. Like, you have to be dead inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of groove to it for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely.
It definitely reminds me of some of Obituary stuff. Like, especially even their new record was. I mean, we did an episode on that when it came out, and I mean,
I know,
through and
so
through,
good.
that record was so good.
Yeah, that new one's fucking killer, man. I love it.
Yeah, it'd be cool to if you guys go on tour with them. I mean, promoting both albums and the groove that you guys both have would be a killer show.
Yeah, for sure. I think we're playing the same day as them at Milwaukee Metal Fest. So
Oh, that'll
Okay.
be cool.
I seen like All Out War and some other people on that bill too. I think was Milwaukee Metal Fest.
yeah, man, that's a really good bill because it's like Friday is like mostly like more extreme music and like death metal and shit like that.
Yeah,
Then like Saturday there's like us and Anthrax and I forget who else. I think Fear Factory maybe. And then like Sunday is like the more like mainstream bands, you know, like Lamb of God and Machine Head. So there's a little something for everybody on that fest. It's really sick.
That's crazy. I mean, playing with fucking Anthrax, dude. That's nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy, man, because I love Anthrax. I mean, when I was just a wee lad getting into metal, and I was like, oh my god, this fucking riff in Indians, I was like, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
You know.
That's amazing. Yeah, I've never been over to the Metal Fest, but we'll get there someday. It's not even that far from us.
no, Milwaukee ain't too far. I seen Anthrax open up for Lamb of God one time, and it's kind of felt backwards because I was like, man, it should be like vice versa.
Yeah.
But they both put on a killer show, and Lamb of God is fucking great live, and Anthrax was really good too. But Anthrax, I feel like, gets overlooked a lot in metal. Like, they do have their solid fan base, but like to the average person, like you ask about thrash metal, it's all Metallica.
Well, yeah, they're out of the big four, they're the one that everybody forgets that doesn't know
Yeah.
metal.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because they've had so much good shit, but it's hard to compete with everything out there. You guys are also playing with Worm, and we talked about this a little bit before we started, but I think that's really cool, just being that it's so early on in their like live shows, and I'm curious to see and hear how they sound live, just because they have so much different types of weird effects going on in their music. Like Blue Nothing was very ambient in certain spots.
Oh, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Which was, I mean, great for the album, but I'm curious to see how it carries over to live.
Yeah, I'm especially excited to see that, man, because I've been a fan of them since like the Gloomlord EP, I think it was called.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just super excited. It's gonna fucking crush.
Yeah, and to see Gorguts on there is great. I mean, to me, they're like one of the.
Oh, dude, they're doing the Considered Dead set too, so I'm like,
Oh, wow.
so fucking excited for that.
Yeah.
Nice.
I've seen Gorguts only once before. I actually saw Gorguts with the Black Dahlia murder. I think it was a Decibel Magazine tour, like 2014 or something, with Carcass too. And
Nice.
Gorguts, they had to like cut their set short because they were having like problems with like their amplifiers or some shit like that. I was so bummed.
Yeah, to me, they're like one of the most unique sounding metal bands out there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Just
Especially like across their whole discography too.
Yeah, for sure. They're like their sound, their bass lines and shit are just fucking out of this world. Like, some people might not be a fan of the vocal style and just how hectic it is, but I mean, I love it.
Yeah, same.
So, are you a full-time musician now, or do you have to work? Like, because you guys obviously you're going on tour. How do you support yourself?
Yeah, actually. So right before our Dying Fetus tour in Europe, I actually quit my job.
Hell yeah.
I was working at a guitar store, and I mean, they were already like pretty cool about like letting me take time off of work all the time, you know.
Uh-huh.
But for one, they like cut my pay, so I was like kind of like, oh fuck this. And then two, like, you know, the band has like so much going on. There's like so much more I could be doing with that time that I'm at work. So I kind of took that leap right before this Dying Fetus tour, and I've been back for like a month now or something like that, and still don't have a job right now. So right now I'm just focusing on like touring and doing the band full time.
I'm on your side all the way, man. Living the dream.
Yeah. So at least I'm gonna be doing this until I have to get a job, or if I have to
Right.
get one, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a bunch of tours lined up this year, so hopefully that doesn't have to happen, so I can just stay 100% focused on this, you know.
Yeah, keep rolling.
I'm just looking at the tour lineup for Milwaukee Metal Fest. I didn't notice as many bands. The first picture I seen was only like 2 days. I didn't see the other fucking day that's on there, so I was seeing who else is on there. I Hate God.
I'm kind of I'm more of a strummer, if you will, so I know a little bit about guitars. What kind of rig are you using?
So right now, so for my amplifier, my cabs, I use PV6505 into two oversized Mesa 412s with V30s, just the tried and true classic combo.
Gotcha.
And my main guitar right now is a 1986 custom shop BC Rich Ironbird.
Nice.
In that guitar, I have EMG 81 and 85X.
Mm-hmm.
The main difference between those and like the regular 81, 85s is like they're just got a little bit more like tighter and low end and clarity. So I really like those pickups. And then from there, I actually just got a wireless system for the first time, a Shure guitar wireless system.
How's
so I have that going.
You like that?
Oh, dude, it's so fucking awesome. I can walk around my whole gym space and not trip over a cable or have it wrap around my leg.
I know those have come a long way over, last 30 years or whatever. Because I remember when people would buy like the cheaper ones because we can't afford the pro stuff and they'd like cut out all the time,
Yeah.
But that's cool.
Yeah, I'm especially excited for that. But yeah, from there I have just a tuner overdrive, noise gate, another just classic combo. I'd like to keep it real simple with my setup because we don't do anything super crazy. But I'm using just the Boss TU3 W, so like the Waza tuner. That one, it's a little bit more accurate for the low notes since we play in drop A as compared to like the regular TU3. And then I use a Maxon ST9 Pro Plus for my overdrive. I got that one because I saw a video with Rob Barrett from Cannibal Corpse talking about his gear. And as soon as I saw that they used that pedal, I was like, I'm buying one immediately. I didn't even have to hear how it sounded because I've listened to Cannibal Corpse so much.
Yeah,
I was
you're like, I know what that thing does. That's cool.
Yeah, exactly. For my noise gate, I use Lone Wolf Audio, or now called Void Manufacturing. The model is the Tannhauser dual gate. So that one, it's like his endless blockade gate. But it has like two separate like EQ controls. I guess EQ isn't the right word, but two different controls for two different like inputs and outputs.
Okay.
So I can run it to the front of my amp with my guitar and cut out like all my guitar noise, and then I can run it into my effects loop and cut out all that like tube hissing sound. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah. So that's pretty nifty that you can do two different things with it.
Yeah, and I can like tweak them specifically how I need to for each one instead of having to like kind of find like a middle ground between
that's when I had
the front of the amp and the
what
back.
I did. It's like you got to find the middle ground.
Yeah,
and you play with it forever and ever.
Yeah, and then I still gotta rearrange my pedal board, but I have another pedal called the Lonely Ghost by Michael Klein, which is a reverb, delay, and boost all in one. And I'm about to add that onto my board as well.
Is that like a custom boutique one like he built?
Yeah. So they're all handmade, like made to order.
Shit,
and he made
awesome.
us like custom ones specifically. So like blue and white, kind of like frosty looking, but it's literally just like the whole like I guess the chassis of it, is that what you would call it?
Yeah.
It's all like there's like a bunch of like skulls printed on it, so it just looks like a pile of skulls. It's so sick.
That's awesome,
dude. Yeah, that's got to be another like bucket list, dude. Custom pedal made for you. Pretty cool.
Yeah, and actually, so the same guy that makes the noise gate, he has his own version of the ST9 Pro Plus that he's making, but he's gonna make us our own custom one as well, which I'm super excited to try out.
That's cool, man.
But yeah, that's all my gear in a nutshell. Oh, one last thing
Pretty
too. I use a Digitech Jamman stereo looper to run our samples live, so I don't have to worry about like putting on a computer and like running tracks or anything like that.
Okay, that's real nice.
Yeah, so you just load them up and then all you do is click them when you need to, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool.
I wonder if like Kill Whitney Dead, when they played live, if they ever played live, did shit like that for all their samples.
Yeah, I wonder.
Because half their songs were samples sometime.
No, that's tight gear though, man. You can't go wrong with the Mesa Boogie.
Yeah, for real.
So all that stuff is what you used on the new record, yeah?
Yeah, well, on the new record too. So there's another secret up our sleeve that I'll reveal. So at this studio, the guy that owned it, he has this guitar cab that was made by Jackson in the 80s. But a little bit of backstory on this cabinet. So the guy that owns that studio, his father designed the speakers that were in that guitar cab.
Okay.
And his father worked for like Acoustic, Jackson, and a whole bunch of other companies like back in the 70s. and he was like a speaker designer. But it's like this black and red Jackson cabinet, like Jackson, the guitar brand from like the 80s. And I don't know what kind of shit is in these speakers, man, but it just like has such a fat low end. So we use that to blend in with the like the regular like 6505 and Mesa V30 combo. And then also on my guitar track specifically, I also used a JCM 900 SLX because I really wanted to get like, my goal with like the record was kind of have like the death metal version of like the Ride the Lightning guitar tone, because like that's my favorite guitar tone of all time.
Yeah, that's my favorite Metallica record.
Yeah, so I just wanted to like kind of have like a little bit of that Marshall sound in my tone to like kind of help round it out.
Awesome, man. I can't wait to hear that low end on that new record.
Yeah, it's fucking sick, man.
I noticed that the Ironbird has quite a few switches on it. What are those other 4 switches for?
So they don't do anything anymore. So when I bought the guitar, it had passive pickups in it.
Okay.
And with those, 3 of them were coil taps, and then one of them was a boost. The boost was nice, just because if I had like a lead part, I could like just boost it a little bit, but it was a little bit too hot, so I opted to just have a pedal instead because I can control the volume at least.
Right.
But the switch boost, it was like plus like 10 dB. It felt like it was so loud.
Yeah, and you need like half of that.
Yeah, but they don't do anything anymore. They just look cool now.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I was looking at a video of you restringing it, and I noticed all the little switches on it, and I was like, man, that's a lot of switches for pickup selectors. So,
yeah, I mean, I opted just to go for active pickups because like we don't do anything crazy to where I would need to be like using one coil or anything. And if we did, I would just play a Stratocaster,
Right.
Yeah. At that point, why not switch out? Did you use the same guitar for the first album too?
No, I didn't get the Ironbird until after we recorded that album.
So we should get
the first record,
nice
though,
little, like almost like a fresh sound coming out of your guitar then.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's fucking great.
Yeah, as far as I know, this will be that guitar's like debut for recorded music.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
As far as I know, I don't know about
the history of it.
I mean, there's been that guitar's had like many owners before me, so
I always think that adds to the fucking, the lore and the sound and the history of the instrument, man. You never know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you don't know whose blood's on those frets.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So what other kind of guitars have you played with in the past? What did you use on the first record?
So the first record, I have this Epiphone Les Paul that I've had that guitar since I was like 15 or 14 or something like that. That one was what I used in like the early days of Frozen Soul. I recorded the Encased in Ice demo with it as well. And right now, it's got a Seymour Duncan JB in the bridge and no neck pickup. I ripped the neck pickup out because actually when we were on tour once, the pickup literally like started like popping out, and I was like, fuck this, I don't need it. So I just ripped it out.
Mid-show?
Yeah, not like mid-show, but like right before a show or something.
Yeah, all you need is that lead.
It would have been way cooler if I did it during our set.
But these guys throw fucking pickups instead of picks at their shows.
Yeah, everybody has an Epiphone Les Paul at one time or another.
I mean, man, I'll be real. It's a great guitar. I mean, working at a guitar store, man, I've played a million Les Pauls, like actual Gibson ones, and this one like sounds and feels just like a real one,
Yeah, I've heard that Gibson's quality has kind of declined over the last 20 years. Anyway.
Oh, dude, it's so bad. I've seen $5,000 custom shop Les Pauls have like blemishes and like scratches when they first come in. I'm like, dude, get it together. It's like, what the fuck?
You just said you worked at a guitar store, so yeah, you know all about that craziness.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it'd be a difference of spending $200 on a guitar and it coming with a blemish, but when you're kicking out a few grand, like, you want that fucking thing to be pristine, especially with the name that's behind it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they're a fucking like they're iconic. Like, they're like a legacy brand at this point.
If I was like CEO of Gibson, I would be like, nah, I ain't putting that fucking thing out. Like, my quality control would be unmatched.
Yeah, you know what's funny is the former CEO of Levi's, the jean company, I'm pretty sure is the CEO of Gibson now.
That is fucking weird.
That's a
Yeah.
strange
But
transition.
this dude's like actually a guitar player, and he like already had like a huge like Gibson collection before like he became the CEO. So
So
I mean, it's definitely not as bad as it used to be like a few years ago, back like 2018 and prior.
yeah.
Like, man, it was really fucking rough, but it still like could be better, you know, especially for how much they're selling their guitars for.
Well, I had an Epi 56 Gold Top, like knockoff, Epiphone version.
Uh-huh.
I think it was like $400 with the case. And that thing
Uh-huh.
was solid, dude. I mean, it even came in like you didn't even really have to mess with it too much. Where usually a new guitar comes in, you got to tear it all apart.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
don't know. It was So anyway, I'm an Epiphone supporter versus Gibson for sure.
I mean, I'm definitely an Epiphone supporter too. Actually, Matt Heafy has his own custom Epiphone Les Pauls. And dude, those are fucking great. Like if I had a Les Paul, like that's how I would want it to be. Like the necks are like super, super thin on those.
Yeah,
And
go
it's got
fast.
like a cutaway for like to get those like really high frets too.
Yep.
And like they're 25.5-inch scale. So I mean they're pretty different from like the traditional kind of Les Paul, but they're really good and they're like super well built guitars.
Yeah, that longer scale would probably help go a lot lower then, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. I'm a strummer. I'm not too technical.
Same, man. I like to call myself a professional amateur
There you go.
That's a good title.
because I know a few things, but really I don't know shit.
I mean, you're fucking making it work well, though, I would say. So clearly you know
Thank you.
something.
So when you're not playing music, what's the number one thing you do, like, besides playing music? You said Magic the Gathering.
Besides playing music, well, I don't play too much Magic anymore, mostly because it's just like super expensive, but also like when I can play, like I don't know, like usually like for Magic, like tournaments are on like weeknights and like we're practicing in the middle of the week usually, and then like Friday nights I'm like hanging out with like my other friends.
Right, yeah, there's other things to do.
Yeah, but other than that, like I primarily just like play video games, mostly like FPS and like a little bit of RPGs here and there. And then I've slowly been getting like into more like TV and movies because for a while I didn't really watch TV or movies, but I've been like binge watching The Walking Dead lately, and I'm just like so sucked in I can't
It's
stop.
funny that you say that. My son and I just started watching that again, and we're on like season 2 halfway through, and I already watched like up to 6 a long time ago, and it's
really?
like watching it for the first time again. It's like so many things I forgot.
Yeah, I started from season 1, and I'm about to be on season 9 now. But previously I had before that I'd only gotten up to like the tail end of season 7. So I wanted to like refresh myself and just watch it all again.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that I didn't remember happening. So I was like,
definitely.
oh, this is nice. So it was like I was watching it for the first time again.
Yep, that's cool.
But yeah, the show's fucking crazy now. It's about more than just like zombies, and like you can see like how like certain conditions are like affecting people and just the dynamic that all these characters have together too after being together for so long.
Right.
It's just like really, really cool. Like I think this show has like evolved like really well over the years. A lot of people say like it kind of fell off after like season 5 or 6 or something like that, but
That's when I
think
stopped
this
watching.
I think it's a great show because, and also two people are like, oh, it became less about zombies. And I'm like, yeah, but to me that's like realistic because at a certain point in a zombie apocalypse, like shit's gonna like take a toll on you mentally.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
And like you're gonna have to like if there's like survivor camps or like other groups, like you're definitely gonna have to fucking like deal with them one way or another, whether it's like conflict or like working together, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if you
Yeah.
watched The Last of Us, but that was kind
Yeah, that
of
was dope.
similar in a way to The Walking Dead.
But you play
Yeah,
video
I
games?
did watch that. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Did you play that game before you watched it?
Actually, no.
No?
I've always been an Xbox guy, so I've never owned PlayStations or anything, so I never got to play The Last of Us.
Gotcha. I heard it was pretty close, aside from a few things.
Yeah, I heard so too. I mean, it's really hard to like take one form of media and adapt it to another. You know, it can't always be exactly spot on. I mean, like for example, when they turn books into movies, like there's so much they leave out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because like if you like turn like a whole fucking book into a movie, it's gonna be like 6 hours. You know?
Yeah. It's like Lord of the Rings. I mean, the movies were long as hell, but they still left a lot out from the book, obviously. But how could they not? I mean, you want to watch fucking an 8-hour movie? Well, I'm sure some people would.
That'd be probably so much longer too, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So what kind of movies you into? You talked about TV shows.
I've been trying to like play catch up on like all like the classic horror movies, just because I really like didn't watch movies for like the longest time.
Mm.
But I really like psychological thrillers too. I watched this one the other day called I think it was Vanilla Sky or something like that.
Yeah, with Tom Cruise.
Yeah, man, that one like fucked me up. I was damn, I feel so bad for this guy.
You only watched it once?
Yeah, I just watched it for the first time the other day.
Oh, okay, yeah. Watch it like 2 or 3 more times.
Okay, I'll make a note of that then.
You'll start to see other things. It's like, I don't know. It's a trip, dude.
Yeah.
So, do you write any of the lyrics or anything for Frozen Soul, or you just mainly guitar, and that's all Chad that does that?
I've contributed lyrics like once, and that was for the song Gravedigger.
Okay.
But even then, like Chad still like took it and made it to where like he could do the vocals because obviously you have to like write lyrics to a pattern. And when I wrote the lyrics, I didn't really have a pattern. I just kind of like wrote down lines, on a piece of paper.
Right. I was just going to ask if horror movies carry over into your writing at all to the music.
Well, definitely 100%. And actually on the new album, Glacial Domination, there is 2 songs on the record that it's called Frozen Soul and Assimilator. And basically they're 2 separate songs that are actually really like one big long song. And it's all based around John Carpenter's The Thing.
I was just going to say that. That's when I first looked at your album cover, that's the first thing that popped in my head was The Thing.
Yeah,
so that's funny that you mentioned that.
Yeah, so that whole long song, or I guess 2 songs, is all about like The Thing. And we have a music video for that we're doing. It's going to be like a double music video.
Fuck yeah.
Like a mini movie kind of about it too. And it's really cool, man. We got some really awesome shots for that one.
Can't wait to see that shit.
Yeah, that'll be coming soon.
John Carpenter's a number 1.
The video that you guys did for Morbid Effigy was pretty horror-esque. Like when the guy was opening up the Christmas presents and cutting up body parts and all that. I was like, I didn't watch it actually until the other day. Like typically I just like stream stuff while I'm at the gym or whatever. And then, so I don't have time to listen to music videos. And sometimes I throw them on the TV, but usually when I'm home, I'm playing records and stuff. But I like to try to deep dive anybody who we interview on the show. So I'm looking back at all the music videos and stuff. And that one was cracking me up.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun with that one. That's definitely my favorite video we've ever done.
Yeah, the guy that played, I don't know who it was, but the dude that plays the main guy in the video is just, creepy as fuck looking.
Dude, we were so stoked because like we showed up to like the first day of filming and like just like interacting with the guy when he's like out of character. We were like, oh yeah, this is definitely like the right guy for like what we're doing. And he fucking nailed it, dude. It was like so perfect.
Yeah,
and like actually, dude, like that, like in the beginning of the video, like where he's dancing,
yeah,
that wasn't like scripted at all. Like we had like Christmas music playing in the background to like like set up a vibe, and he was really just like dancing, just goofing around, and like we told our director like, "Yo, start shooting right now, film this."
That's kind of like the Toby Hooper scene in Texas Chainsaw. I was all off the dome.
Yeah, that dude is a fucking great actor. His name's Dr. London Smith.
Dr. Lemon Smith?
Dr. London Smith.
Oh, London Smith. Okay.
Yeah.
He's his face and all his like mannerisms were all creepy, and then like I think it was eyeballs that he was holding up above his head, like as if they were mistletoe.
Yeah.
That shit had me laughing. I was fucking cracking up about it.
Yeah, we saw like those shots when we were like filming. We were like, good God, this is so fucking like demented. I love it.
Yeah. No, it definitely fits the song and the rest of the music and everything, but I definitely gathered up the horror part to it. So, video games, what kind of video games do you like? I'm kind of bouncing around here, sorry.
Oh, no, it's all good, man. So I'm primarily a like FPS shooter person. It's hard for me to play single player games sometimes, or like it used to be because I was so busy all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Just because like single player games require like so much investment into like the story to like really experience everything,
Yeah, whereas like first person shooter, you can kind of pick
Bouncing
up
it
when you
out.
want to.
Yeah, exactly. So I've always been a fan of the Call of Duty franchise. I've been playing Call of Duty since fucking like the original like COD 4.
Yep.
I've played like every single release since, and I love Halo. Halo is my favorite series of all time.
Mine too, when it comes to first person shooters.
Yeah, especially like at least all like the pre 343 stuff. That's like my favorite like games. Like it's like series of releases ever.
Yeah.
And then I'm also like really into Fortnite too, just because it's like just dumb fun.
I'm fucking terrible at Fortnite. Like
I was terrible, and then I didn't play for a while, and then they introduced it's the zero build mode, so there's no building at all, so you don't have to worry about some fucking sweaty dude at his fucking computer building a fucking 5-star hotel in like 2 seconds when you shoot him.
Yeah, that's what threw me off about the game originally, because like my son, I have a 12-year-old son, he plays it. Well, he doesn't really anymore, but he used to, and he'd want me to play it with him, and I'm like, all right. I'm like, be prepared to get schooled, because I've been playing first-person shooters like way longer than you've been alive. And then little did I know, like, there's fucking architecture in the game, and it fucking completely threw me for a loop, and I was like, oh, this is I can't do this.
I think the concept of it is really cool. It's just like where the state it's in now, where like I said, you can just build an entire fucking fortress in like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
It just kind of like takes away from it. Yeah. But they have a mode where like that isn't allowed at all.
It's
like
just
you can't do it.
slaying.
It's just straight playing, like shooting guns at each other and like using the actual map to your advantage or disadvantage.
Yeah.
That would be a lot better, because I've seen some people, like you said, but putting up a 5-star hotel in seconds is a good analogy, because I've watched that happen where like you shoot a dude in the head and then like all of a sudden he's got a fortress and he's sniping you from the top of the fucking Eiffel Tower that you don't even know how it got there.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. Other than that, like I'm a big fan of like the Fallout series. I just started another Fallout New Vegas playthrough like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
And just been having a blast with that.
Yeah,
of course, like Elder Scrolls series, like Skyrim and Oblivion.
Yep. I even played Morrowind when it came out originally on Xbox.
Oh man, I never played Morrowind. I've been meaning to. I just haven't gotten around to it.
It's cool, but it's dated. I mean, compared to what's out now, it's kind of, I don't know.
Yes, sometimes it's hard to go back and play older games because they're so dated. Like, I feel like Fallout New Vegas is like a exception for me, because like the story is just like so rich, whereas like, you know, like the actual visual, like the way it looks visually, and also like some of the mechanics are like pretty outdated.
Yeah,
but like I'm able to look past it just because like that game's story is just so like deep and amazing.
Yeah, I always liked the lore that they have in the Fallout games of the post-apocalyptic world and some of the weapons that you can build, and then like the monsters that they come up with. That shit is fucking like the I'm trying to think of some of the names of them. I haven't played it in a while, but just some of the like radiation fucking giant crabs and shit like that. Like,
yeah, the Mirelurks or whatever.
Yeah, that's what they are. It was like on the tip of my tongue and I couldn't think of what the hell it was. We actually sell a lot of Ink Spots records here because of Fallout.
Yeah, oh, really?
Yeah, which is weird because like a few years ago, we had like crates upon crates of them, and I could not give them away. Like, we would put them out front of the store, like, here, free, take these, get them the fuck out of here. And now I can't even keep them in stock. Like, whether it's records, 45s, it doesn't matter. Like, they come in, fucking kids are like, I'm like, oh, you know, here I got Iron Maiden, I got Dr. Dre, I got fucking Obituary, Dying Fetus, there's Frozen Soul here, there's old rock, new rock, hip-hop, electronic. They're like, you got any Ink Spots?
That's wild.
Yeah, I'm like, dude. What? Like, and I didn't even, like, I've beaten the games, and I don't even remember Ink Spots being in there, but maybe I usually, like, play music when I'm playing video games, so I guess I probably missed it. So, Michael, you got anything you would like to add, say, or anything about the album?
All I can really say is just, if you're listening to this, please check it out. Really hard on it. It's some of my favorite music I've ever put out, and we're all really, really proud of it. Watch the music videos, please. Pre-order a copy. Even just like checking it out just means the world. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I'll have links to everything in the description for pre-orders and for where to check out the music videos, you guys' Instagram, etc. Just so helps push the word along to people so they know where to go and how to get it. And then
I appreciate that, man.
for local
Yes, sir.
people listening, I mean, you'll be able to pick the album up April 19th here in the store on release date. And if you have not yet heard the band, start listening to me and do what I say and fucking check it out.
Yeah, and watch their videos because they're fucking insane. They're not just like, oh, there's the band. You know, you guys do an awesome job on your videos, like you were saying.
Yeah, we try to not do that. I mean, we did it with the Arsenal War video, but most of the time we don't want to be just like dudes standing there, you know?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I've yet to see you guys live, and I got to change that. I'm going to try to, I won't be able to make it down for the shows that you got coming up right away because I got record store day things going on here, and I got my hands full. So, unfortunately, it falls at a weird time. But all the videos I've seen, like on YouTube of live performances, I mean, you guys, like you said earlier, Blood Incantation nails their live performances. I think you guys are right up there.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. But yeah, man, I don't have anything else immediately for you. I know you guys got a lot to do preparing for tour and whatnot, so I ain't going to take all your time up. But I appreciate you taking the time to jump on the show and talk about the album and video games, movies, your equipment, etc.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. This is a lot of fun.
It was a pleasure meeting you.
Yeah, you as well.
Right, man. You guys enjoy your tour. I hope everything goes well, and then I'm looking forward to the album, obviously, like I said already, but I'll say it again.
I hope you never have to get another 9 to 5.
Me fucking too,
and
man.
I'll put that vibe out there for you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
All right, man. Thanks again. You have a good day.
You too. Cheers, guys.
Later.
Peace out.